I was limping enough for friends and neighbors to start noticing that something was wrong. Okay, so my right leg was really giving me issues. When I was standing up from sitting down, it was really stiff and it hurt. Sometimes it was a shooting pain through my leg when I put weight on it, and it usually took 2 or 3 steps, if not longer, before I was actually walking upright. So that wasn't great. I also had issues, even when I was just sitting down, it would be constantly aching. So sometimes it was more achy than other times, but it seemed like it was aching most of the time. And sleeping was also difficult because my leg was constantly aching, and turning over in bed was also very sore and painful. I couldn't lay on either side without my leg complaining. And walking, I was limping quite a bit, and especially while I was limping enough for friends and neighbors to start noticing that something was wrong. So
were they making comments and stuff like that?
yes, they were. One of them actually recommended I come and see you.
What would you say are some of the activity limitations that you have?
Even just walking the dog wasn't as enjoyable because I was concentrating more on how I was walking and how my leg was feeling than what the dog was doing. So our walks were shorter because I couldn't go the distance, which wasn't good. And also, it was in the wintertime, I was really afraid of falling because if I fell, I was concerned that I'd hurt myself some more or I wouldn't be able to get up. And that's the first time I've ever been leery about walking in the wintertime. I also enjoy jogging, but that just wasn't an option with my leg aching and being so painful.
How'd that kind of make you feel?
Frustrated, really down, helpless in a way, because I was doing things to stay healthy and to stay mobile, and yet this ache in the leg, this pain in the leg just wasn't improving, certainly not fast enough.
How long were you dealing with it for?
Since I would say last September, and it probably stayed fairly consistent in where it was at until about January, where I had a few falls on the ice and the snow, and then it seemed to get worse. And that was, again, more painful, more constant pain.
So then your neighbor suggested you come in here and you're kind of hesitant. Walk us through that kind of process for you and kind of what you experienced and what you were thinking as things were happening.
Well, I came in to see you, and I thought, well, it's worth a shot. I tried chiropractic for my arm many years before, and it had worked well. So it seemed like the exercises that I was doing by myself were not getting my leg better. So I thought, let's give this a try. And then I guess to start off with, it was a couple of times a week. And I won't say that things got better immediately, but there was definitely the improvement that kept me coming back. And now it's a few months later, 3 months later, 4 months later, and I'm really happy with where I'm at.
That's great to hear. I'm glad you're feeling so much better. So how is life kind of looking like now? Like, what are the things you're able to do? You're having difficulty walking your dog, feeling confident going out, exercising.
So walking the dog, it's all good. We can go the longer distances because I know my leg is gonna hang in there. Jogging, I haven't tried yet, and I think I'm gonna give that a little while. As far as sleeping goes, my leg isn't keeping me awake all night type thing. I don't have aching and pain in my leg when I'm just at rest. There's maybe a little bit of an ache if I've been sitting for a while for the first step or so, but it's so much different than what it was before. It's, I would say, almost back to where it used to be before the problem started.
That's great. That's great to hear. What would you say to anyone who may be dealing with this kind of thing or a similar issue and maybe a little hesitant to try out chiropractic, come in or try different things to get it feeling better? What would you kind of say to that person?
I would say to give it a try because there's not it's the adjustments that you did were not painful. It A lot of it is stretching, or I don't know how to describe it, but it's not painful. And it feels good afterwards. And to be able to move around without the pain, without using painkillers, and to feel that it's all been done in a very natural way is the best as far as I'm concerned. Like there's no invasive surgery, no pills that you're constantly taking. And from my perspective, no worries that my leg isn't going to support me when I need it.
I know you're really big on the natural route and really don't like taking medications. I think you were taking some medications before, right? And they were kind of moderately or mildly helpful, if anything at all. Yeah.
Basically, I'd be taking usual painkiller now and then, but it didn't really help.
Okay. Anything else you want to add? Anything you feel like I kind of omitted or didn't ask you about?
I guess as well, one of the things that I liked was that the appointments very quickly went from 2 a week to 1 appointment every 2 weeks to once a month. And now we're up to 1 appointment every 2 months type thing. So just knowing that this isn't something that I have to work my schedule around every single week is awesome. And, to know that, okay, so arthritis can't be fixed and made to go away, but it can definitely be worked with, and general regular maintenance helps keep me moving.
Yeah, it's so true. I just want to ask you actually one more thing, if you don't mind. What would you say some of the treatments that you're having done? How would you describe those? Like a lot of times people will think the chiropractor will just kind of, you're in there for 30 seconds, they'll kind of snap your back and then send you on your way. And then you got to go in, like you said, like once or twice a week, but indefinitely. And sometimes people are, concerned about that. So sometimes people will not come in because they may feel like, well, if I go once, I gotta always go then. So I just don't want to get started. What would you kind of say to that?
Obviously, it's not true, but I mean, to start the session, it was always a case of you asking me, "How are you doing? How are you feeling?" Having a look at how I'm walking, and then it wasn't the same adjustments every single time. Like you would, I think it was adjusting my hips or that lower back most of the time, and also, doing some traction and some stretching exercises, as well as some range of motion type stuff with the hip. So it's not just a case of me going in there and you saying, okay, we're gonna snap my back type thing and going off. It's more personalized to what I'm dealing with rather than one size fits all.
Well, I really appreciate your time, Amanda.